feathering, like a feather. You feather the composite. It's a typical test for handling, and you can see how well they manipulate. So if you don't know this composite, I highly recommend you try it. It's among the top composites in the world, in my opinion, right? Okay, we're also going to be using the flowable, and the flowable, it's one viscosity, and the flowable composite is matched with the composite. So it's the same filler particles, it's highly filled, more than 60% filled per weight. It's a very, very strong flowable, and we're going to be using it for some nice techniques later on, okay? Very good. Regarding the shade, I want to say that Dentsply is a pioneer in the trend that we have to simplify the shades. Today, you have some systems that have just one shade. It worked for posterior. I think it works really well. But Dentsply started this back in 2001, if I'm not mistaken, with Ceramax Mono. And Ceramax Mono had the M shades, M1, M2, M3. And each one was equivalent to several Vita shades. So here you would have M1, and M1 was indicated for A1, B1, C1, right? And with time, people said, "Oh, we don't like this M shades. Let's go to the A shades," so everybody understands. And so today, all materials from Dentsply, they have universal cloud shades, meaning it's a cloud constellation of shades. So if you use, let's go back here. If you use this compila here, it's A2. It's written A2 there, all right? So what you're really gonna be using is a composite that is around A, sorry about this, around A2, and it's indicated mostly for A2, but it will also cover B2 and D2. So that's the trend. It works really well, so well that you can use it for anterior composites as well. So this is the composite. This is the composite family. All right. Um, Notice you have some bleach shades. Not sure if it's available in your country, but in some countries they have the syringe bleach shade. Okay, and we also have the effect shades, which are two dentin and one enamel shade. This I'm pretty sure it's available in your countries. Okay, and I will use this today. I think every dentist should have one or two dentin shades in their offices. And the technique I'm going to show you, it's a simplified technique from Dentsply. It was my idea. And what you do, you're going to combine the dentin shade with the universal shade. So there's no complicated layering. It's very simple, very straightforward. And this will solve so many of your problems, of your conundrums, when you have a dark tooth, right? Because then you can opacify it with a little bit of dentin in a simple horizontal layer. I'm giving a pause here to Dr. Sun. Yeah, it's not easy to do simultaneous translation, you know. Dr. Sun, we're almost done. When we go when we go to the live demo, it's going to be much easier. All right, let me show you quickly here the adhesive. Yeah. So I'm very proud of this adhesive. This was developed by a friend of mine, Chris Fick, here in Dentsply Sirona, the Detray site in Constance, the Constance site. And this is one of the best universal adhesives in the world. I mean, out of doubt. Of course, I love the Curare universal adhesive, the 3M, they're good. This one is class A. It's in the same league or better, okay? We cannot say that, but I love it so much. It has MDP. It features the acidic monomer, the famous acidic monomer from Clearfield SE, for instance. It's very forgiving. It's very thin, and it corrects your mistakes. If you make the dentin, If you let the dentin too humid, too dry, it's still gonna work. I'm not gonna go into too many details, okay? But this is the indicated adhesive that I use for everything because you can use a hybrid technique and do selective etching. So in a case like this, I have a simple indication for you guys. We etch everything that is not healthy dentin or deep dentin. So healthy dentin, we do not etch. Deep dentin, we do not etch. Everything else we etch. So here, for instance, I would etch, in this case, all the enamel, obviously, all the enamel, and I would etch a little bit this sclerotic dentin, and that's it. And then I would apply the adhesive normally. Here in the premolar, very simple, I would etch all the enamel, all the enamel areas. Okay, and I would at the end of the etching apply a little bit of etch here for a few seconds, and I would rinse and dry. I mean, not over dry, but remove the excess moisture. Right, remembering that the adhesive is very forgiving. All right, so to avoid gap, you need a nice adhesive, but we're going to be reinforcing it with SDR. Okay, so I'll show this later to you. And I'll do the demo. I'll do the live demo of the adhesive application. I think we can skip these areas here. Okay. All right. I just want to show you the. I'm not going to get into too many details. I just want to show you the quality. Let's see if they have the quality of the bond. This one here. This one is just amazing. So what you see here is what happens when you apply adhesive to a dental surface. Okay. So what happens is nothing. You need to spread it, right? You need to spread it around. So um, I can do this with other adhesives, but when we get to, it's very active and it will help you by spreading around. Look at this. It's really interesting. I mean, there's no magic. You still need to spread it around and remove the excess, but it's a very, very interesting adhesive. Also for air drying. If you air dry an adhesive, you're gonna be in trouble. Okay, because if you displace the adhesive by applying too much pressure, the adhesive is going to be very non-uniform, and you're going to lose a good chunk of the potential bond strength. All right, so let's say around 20%. Research shows anywhere between 30 and 10% of loss of bond strength loss if the adhesive is not uniformly placed. Okay, and prime and bond universal, it's self levels really, really well. Look at this again. Okay, so this is the adhesive. And if you have any questions, please start shooting questions. Um, the Dentsply folks are going to send it to me via WhatsApp. But Smita, if you want to ask me while I'm working, it doesn't bother me at all. All right. So
Okay.
so let me see here. I have my WhatsApp open in case you guys write to me. All right. And now we're gonna switch. We're gonna switch to the camera here and start our presentation. So now I'm gonna show you all the rest of the products and talk about the techniques. And we will do this with a live demo, which is much more fun in my opinion. All right, so here we are. And Smith, how much time do we have starting now? Just so I have an idea. More or less until
We have 45 minutes. Yeah.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So let me put this in focus for you guys. All right, very well. So let's do this a little more challenging. And we're gonna add a little bit of sclerotic dentin here. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, so this is a simulation of sclerotic dentin. And obviously the indication of cusp replacement, all those things. I'm not gonna get too much into the details, but as a rule of thumb, if you have more than 2 millimeters of dentin, support dentin, you can keep the cusps. Um, and if you have less than 2 millimeters, or if it's undermined here, and it's a functional cusp, you 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 have the indication of reducing, the cusps for cusp replacement. I'm not going to get into the details. This is very controversial, but my point is that you should be able to know how to restore this. All right. Let me. Yeah. Let me filter out the yellow light. So there you go. Okay, so my approach here is we're going to do this in 2 steps. First, we're going to reinforce all this with SDR, and then we're going to freehand the cusps. We're going to do this in relative isolation. Okay, so relative isolation with Optradam or with retraction cords with a very nice relative isolation. We're going to do just this, sealing the dentin and restoring the cusps. Then we're going to adjust the occlusion. And after that, we're going to place the rubber dam. All right. This is a very advanced technique, and I love to show this because it opens an array of options for you guys. Obviously, you could also, and this is now to Dr. Sun because I know he loves rubber dam. I love it too, right? And so, alternatively, I think it's a good alternative. You can place the rubber dam, and then you apply SDR. After that, you freehand the cusps, and then you adjust the cusps visually with the burr. Instead of adjusting the occlusion, you just adjust it visually. And then we're going to place the matrices and finish the class 2. Okay, so that's also an option. All right, so etching, again, I would etch the enamel, I would etch the pulp chamber and the sclerotic dentin, yeah, for no more than 15 seconds, okay? No more than 15 seconds. But the enamel, you have to etch at least 15 seconds. So how do you do this? We etch the enamel, we wait 10 seconds, and then we start etching the dentin, okay? Like here, for instance, and the pulp chamber, okay? And once we are around 10 seconds, I start rinsing, okay? Because between 10 and no more than 15 seconds etch on dentin is recommended, all right? Then you rinse this dry, remove the excess of water, okay? And let's apply the adhesive. So here is Brown Bond Universal. I think I don't have time to reverse my camera right now, okay, because we have so little time. But I guess I have to, right? Just give me a second. Let's see if I can do this. So again, if you have any questions so far, please start shooting them to me. I don't think I'll be able to find the menu to reverse the camera. Let me see here. Just 1 second. I'll try once more. Ah, yes, here. Why? Why is this option on anyway? Okay. So this is Brian Bond Universal. Okay. So I like to apply the adhesive. Remember, this is universal, so you can also use it as a total etch or etch and rinse. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna apply a generous amount to the dentin. Okay. And then we're gonna apply this to all enamel areas. And you have to let it do its thing for around at least 20 seconds. 20 seconds, please. All right. At least 20 seconds. After that, you can air thin it. Of course, you can air thin it. But if you have applied a little bit excess, like I did, I like to use a different technique. I like to blot dry this. So uh, with a new micro brush and a piece of paper here, I will show it to you. You come here and you blot dry all the excess of the adhesive. Look at how this works really well. See? Now here, I have some excess here still and here. Look at this. It works really well. So only after I have removed the excess of adhesive, I will air dry this really gently, okay? So that's how I do it. So recap, you can air thin it carefully and then air dry it, or you can remove the excess of adhesive with blot drying. Blot drying is micro brush or paper points, okay? And once you're happy with the results, we can air dry it for at least 5 seconds. So this is what most dentists do. And that's not 5 seconds. You're going to have problems with this sensitivity because all universal adhesives, they contain water. All right. So this is 5 seconds. Let's go with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a long time. And I know you don't do it, but please do this. Please do this. Every universal adhesive has to be dried for 5 seconds. Okay. At least 5 seconds. So I'll do it again so you see it. It's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. So that's 5 seconds. Okay. And if you do this, so this is adhesive displacement. This is no, 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 no. Don't do this. Okay. Be gentle. Be gentle. Anyway, I'm not going to reapply. I'm just going to spread it around a little bit. But if I had done this, I would apply a little more. Actually, let me just show it to you. I would I would get a little bit of adhesive here, like this. Okay. I would remove the excess and I would reapply a little bit. So if you displace the adhesive, if you're in a hurry, and you start blasting, then, just reapply a little bit, dry again. 5 seconds, all right? Very good. You can see we have a problem here, but this is because this is a plastic tooth, okay? But if you see this on the dentin, you have to apply more adhesive, all right? Now this is looking good. Cure time. Cure time is 10 seconds, okay? All adhesives from Dentsply require 10-second cure, a minimum of 10-second cure, but only if you have a good curing lamp, right? So this is the Smart Light Pro. You can see I have been using it for a while here in the lab. It's an amazing light system. It's very powerful. It's all you need. With this one here, you can cure our composites for 10 seconds only. Okay, I think up to A3. Then A3.5, A4, the dentin shades, they require 20 seconds. But everything else, A1, A2, bleach, flowable, 10 seconds. All right. Now, a little trick here. We need to opacify this sclerotic dentin. We need to opacify it. You can use an opaquer, okay? I'm going to use a white opaquer here. There are many brands available. So this is a white opaquer. So this is advanced. Please make sure you always have a white opaquer in your practice. And you just break the shade a little bit like this. And this has to be cured for 20 seconds, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 20. 20 seconds. You can apply it in layers. It has to be applied really thin. Look at this. This is looking much better. All right. Now, if you have the products from Dentsply, like the flowable like this flowable here, the Spectra S Flow, ST Flow, it's available in dentin shades. Look at this. It's available in dentin shades. And this is also going to work. It's not as opaque. It's not as opaque as the white opaquer, but I highly recommend that you use it. And you can use it a little thinner here, a little thicker, sorry. So do this and you're going to have much less incidence of those dark restorations. You know, you place the restoration and then it looks super dark, right? I call it potato shade. You make A3, A3, A2, and then at the end it looks like a potato shade. All right, so now let's reinforce this tooth and let's pre-fill it. There's one product that is amazing for this, and that's SDR. All right, SDR flow, SDR flow. These are the only material that I know that allows you to do this. Just keep the needle inside the material as you go. Reinforce the cusps and seal all the dentin. Just seal all the dentin. It's the only material. You can, of course, you can stop in the middle and freeze it. Let me show this to you just so you see it happening. Like you don't need to go all the way in. You can just freeze it, okay? And adapt it to the dentin like this and here as well. So all the dentin is sealed, okay? All right, this is beautiful. Look at this. Everything is sealed. No dentin is exposed. If you see a small air bubble here, you just remove it with the micro brush. I think it's the best way to do it. Okay, like this. So here I'm freezing it for a little bit because I'm going to apply a little more over here. And over here. Okay, make sure there's no SDR on the enamel area or close to the DJ, dentin enamel junction, okay? It's very clean. And now let's cure it for 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Um, so the D1 and D3 shades from the effect shades, the dark composites like A3.5 and SDR, they require 20-second cure. Okay, so now we have to replace the cusps, and this is where I'm going to show you the two-step technique. We're going to freehand it, and we're going to use New Spectra A2. All right. So the technique is we're going to come. Let's see if I can show this to you. We're going to come from the palatal, and you're going to press the composite against the tooth to the best of your ability and go out here like this. See? This is the technique. If you need a little more, you just add a little more like that. Now we're going to sacrifice this area. Don't worry about this area because we can come with the burr later, okay, and improve this. We're going to try to get the best contour as possible on the palatal area here. It's very easy to do if you do it like this. If you have a very thin spatula, this is going to help you tremendously. Okay, so here we have like this. And see if you find here a hint of the palatal groove and you start marking it a little bit. And make sure you adapt it to the tooth here. All right, now we're still missing, okay? So we can push this in like this. And we can always add more later, all right? So look at from this angle here, we try to follow the tooth. And here as well. That's it. That's looking like a nice cusp contour to me. Maybe we need a little more there, but I think we're going to stop here because it's like Murphy's Law, you know? You know Murphy's Law? If you try to make it better, it's going to get worse. It's Murphy's Law, but this is looking good. And see how the composite simply does not stick to the tooth? Okay, this is looking awesome. Look at this. You guys like this? Look at this contour. Give me thumbs up if you like it. All right, first nice trip. Let me start again. I'm so happy with the result that I'm tripping myself. Thank you, thank you. So first nice tip of the day. We want to brush this with a micro brush or a brush, but I use a micro brush. And I'm going to use a modeling liquid. Okay. Which modeling liquid? The best modeling liquid in the world, flowable composite. All right. Just a little bit modeling liquid. Okay. So how am I going to do this? We're going to apply a little bit of flowable here. Just a little bit. Remember, flowables are weaker, so we don't want to use too much, all right? Just a little bit. You can apply directly on your micro brush as well. Just a little bit. This is going to make finishing much easier later on, okay? For this. Of course, it doesn't have to look as pretty as this because, I'm doing this in a microscope. Um, I use microscope primarily to interior composites and veneers. On posteriors, not as much, but look at this, guys. This is going to be robust. Look at this. Okay. All right. Let's freeze this in place. 5 seconds. Okay, just freeze this in place. See if you have any imperfections on this side here, and you add a little bit of flowable there, just so you don't have any air bubbles. This is okay. This is optional. All right. Yeah. So let's cure this now. Let's cure this now for the recommended. What is the recommended curing time? Who knows the recommended curing time? This is A2. So what did I say before? 10 seconds, right? 10 seconds. And now it comes the time to work with the burr. Okay. We're simply going to get a fine burr like this. Okay. Fine burr and contour a little bit. So, and that's where you get rid of all this excess that you don't want here. And this is all STR, right? So it's very easy to, we're going to do a rebond. And then I like to do a little bit of contouring in this area here. Just do a very small, slow motion. And you go back and forth. Let me remove the water and just slowly so you can see the motion. Try not to touch the enamel, okay? Again, this can be done really quickly. This can be done really quickly. If I want to publish this, then I will add a little more time. Like I'm gonna get this torpedo shape here, and I'm gonna work on this area here. And again, let's talk about indications. Some people say, no, I would never cap a cusp like this with composite. But remember, this is as strong as a lab composite. So if you have done a indirect composite only or overlay, you can do this. It's not a big deal. All right, so let's work a little bit on the secondary grooves here, and here, and here. And what do we have here? Ladies and gentlemen, what do we have here? We have a class 2. That's what we have here. That's a class 2. And look at the quality of these cusps. All right. So now, if you don't have the rubber dam placed, I would check the occlusion. Okay. Just adjust the occlusion and do the class 2. If you have the rubber dam on, you just continue now with the class 2. Okay. So let me repeat this. If you're doing this under relative isolation, okay, under relative isolation, I would adjust the occlusion and I would place the rubber dam. All right. If you're under the rubber dam, you just contour, you eyeball it following the cusp lines here. You can see the cusp lines. You follow it. All right. And after that, we're gonna proceed with the class two. For the class two, we're gonna need to add the matrices, and we're gonna do a rebonding. There's no, if you want to sandblast, you can, but you don't need to because we already roughened um, the composite with a diamond burr. All right. So let me repeat this. Let me talk to you just for a second. All right, this is important stuff. All right. Um, I know that a lot of people they say sandblasting is obligatory for direct composites, but it's not really. I mean, it's nice to do sandblasting. I like sandblasting, but it's also messy. Remember that if you have a uniform preparation, a finished preparation with diamond burr, there is no difference in bone strength. Okay, there's no difference in bone strength if you have dentin or enamel that is roughened with the diamond burr or sandblasted. There's no difference in bone strength. When I use it a lot is like when you have contamination after you remove a provisional crown or provisional only, and the substrate is all dirty with provisional cement. Then I like to use sandblasting. Or when it's a very complex preparation, sometimes I sandblast, but it's not mandatory. Okay. So let me just put here the matrix, and the reason I'm not showing this to you is because this is a model, and sometimes I have to nudge the plastic tooth a little bit. Okay. Sometimes I have to cheat a little bit. Yeah. And to place the matrix on this dental model. So I had to wedge the tooth a little bit with a tweezer to place. But anyways, you place the matrices, and then we're gonna place the ring. And I'm not sure if you know this, but the Paladin ring you can use. It's stackable. You can put many multiple rings. Like I can put here. Okay. After the wedge, of course, you need the wedge, right? So let me place one wedge here so you don't say that I didn't place wedges, but this for this model it's not very helpful. All right, the wedge there. And guys, this is a class two. This is nice and easy. Okay, Smith, how much time we have now?
We have half an hour, close to 25 minutes.
For the demo alone.
Demo and then another 15 minutes for the questions.
So we have plenty of time. So guys, yeah, okay. I don't place the wedge sometimes because it's a model. Okay, a little trick here. This is the tweezer from the Paladin system. Okay, this is the tweezer. You have to press in the front to insert the wedge. All right, like this. So you press in the back here to open it, but you press in the front, and when you press in the front here, now this is very sturdy. Okay, so this is how you do it. And another thing I love about this is that it has this round head here. So now I can confirm I have contact here and here. All right, very good. So let's place this one first. You place it, release, and push it downwards a little bit like this. Okay. As you can see, this is a very fast technique. I would say you need 10 minutes to replace the cusp. Okay, so now I release it, and then if you can press it down a little bit, if it's hitting the tooth here, you press it down with your fingers a little bit. If you have small fingers, it all depends. It all depends. Okay. All right. So now it's the adhesive application. And here we're going to do the rebond. Remember, so for a rebond, the technique is these are the steps. You roughen the composite with a diamond burr, okay? Or you sandblast it. It's up to you. Okay. Then you rinse it and dry it. You rinse it well and dry it. Okay. And what about the dentin? Oh, what do I do with the dentin? Well, if there's dentin exposed, then it's a bad luck. Then you have to rebond to bond everything again. Okay. And this is why I sealed the dentin first with SDR. Can I tell you a secret? I can tell you a secret. I don't apply composite directly on dentin anymore. Right? So I don't, let's see here. So here's a class two, for instance. I don't apply the adhesive and then I come with the composite here. I don't do this anymore. I always seal the adhesive first with STR or with a flowable. So I would get the dentin shade and apply a thin layer of flowable, very thin, cure it, and after that I would apply the composite. Okay, so in other words, I always seal the dentin with STR or with flowable before I apply the composite. Okay, very good. So adhesive, but now adhesive for rebond. This is the rebond technique, and you're gonna see that it's a different technique in terms that I'm gonna air dry the heck out of this. All right. So I will remove a little bit of the excess here, like I showed before. And now we're gonna air dry the heck out of this as much as possible. All right. So this is rebond. It's a very, very thin layer, and sometimes I even come with a dry microbrush and I reapply here just to make sure there's no excess adhesive here anywhere. All right. Okay. Very well. So now we proceed. The marginal ridges, I'm going to use A2, or you can even use A1. Should I use A1? Let's do it. A1. See if I find it here. Yeah, I don't. I just have A2 and A3. So let's go with A2. Yeah, unfortunately, it's all good. But I wouldn't use enamel here. I mean, you can use the enamel shade, but if you use the enamel shade here, it can be super thin. It has to be super thin. So let me show you the difference. So this is A2, all right? A2. You apply under pressure like this, and it's easy like that. Okay. And this point, I like to use a round instrument. A round instrument, just to make sure the composite is in the right place. I always use this round instrument here. Look at this. Okay. And look how good this composite is. If I want to remove the excess here, look at this. It's an amazing composite. So easy to work with. All right. Now, little trick, make sure this marginal ridge is not higher than this marginal ridge. So you have a reference here. So this is a little too high. Look at this. Let me show this to you. This is too high. Okay, so make sure you push it downwards a little bit like this. That's it. Takes, you know, it takes 1 minute to place a nice marginal ridge, I would say. It's a great investment. It's a great investment because then you save time later in occlusal adjustment, you know. When I do it like this, half of the time I have no occlusal adjustment. No occlusal adjustment. So this one. Now the other one we can do, if I had to do, I can do this with enamel. You know, the effect shades, they come with an enamel shade as well. These are the effect shades. You can see here effects. Okay, you have D1, D3, and E1. And the enamel shade, it's optional, but it's a very nice enamel shade. Um, if you are one of those